Hello, and welcome to the Being Human podcast. If you're new here, or if you're returning and you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any future content that's coming from Being Human, because there's going to be a lot of it. On this third episode of the podcast, we had something a little bit different. We did a fight recap of BMF 7. BMF is a UK-based MMA promotion, and the team that I'm a part of, HW1, based out of Loughborough, had 4 fighters on BMF 7, which was held a few weeks ago up in Barnsley. And all 4 of our fighters on the card won their fights. It was a really good night for the team, really good night for all the fighters and coaches involved. And I thought it would be good to get our head coach, Jimmy Wallhead, and our head grappling coach, Joe Taylor, in with Perry, who, if anyone's watched episode 1 of the podcast, will be very familiar with now, who fought and won on BMF 7. I thought it'd be great to get all 3 of them, 2 coaches and 1 of the fighters who fought, onto the podcast to do a fight recap, kind of like a Joe Rogan fight companion after the fact. We watched all the fights back. You can either watch them yourself on YouTube, they're all up on YouTube now, or you can try and make it out on the TV screen that we're watching them on. We discussed the fights themselves and the fighters in their fights, but also all the fighters' careers in a wider sense, what's next for them, how their training's going. We talked about MMA training in general, MMA in general. I think anybody that is interested in combat sports or participates in a combat sport themselves will have something to take away. Like I said, it's going to be something that's a bit different from the standard Being Human podcast episode. It was very jovial. We had lots of banter, some inside jokes. I hope you enjoy listening as much as we enjoyed recording it. If you did, be sure to let us know by hitting that like button, dropping a comment below, sharing, and hitting that subscribe button as well. If the reception for this kind of episode is good, then we'll be sure to be doing a lot more of them. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting Being Human. Yeah. All right. Okay, we'll hand it over to the coaches.
Oh, we're going now?
Yeah.
Oh, we're on.
Yeah. So Zach's fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't actually in the corner for this one.
Yeah.
I turned up just as Zach walked out. Obviously, this was a kickboxing bout, not really my field of expertise. So I'll leave it to Jimmy with this one.
Great for a deep end. We're doing running commentary, yeah?
Yeah, well, just to start off with, give us the background as to who Zach is, what kind of fight this is, what it meant to Zach in terms of his progression and that kind of stuff.
This was K1 rules match. Obviously, Zach's Brett's son, one of our owners. Zach's 14. His opponent, I believe, was 16 or 17. This was Zach's second fight. And this kid was a lot more experienced. He'd had a lot of fights, and he was their current champion as well. So, if anything, quite a tough test for Zach, for his second fight. But
tall lad as well, wasn't it? There was a big height disparity.
And a lot more, a lot more comfortable in this rule set as well. Obviously he had a lot more fights, and this is all he primarily does as well, to my knowledge. But as you can see, Zach's started the fight very well. I mean, he outboxed the lad throughout the whole match, in my opinion. I haven't watched it back, to be honest with you, so I'm trying to think from what I was remembering from the time, but it was action-packed. I believe it got a fight of the night as well at the end of the night. The crowd were going pretty crazy about it, as Charlie was a local ticket seller and fan favourite, and obviously the show's existing champion. So it was a great fight. Lovely, fast hands work by Zach. And
was there a game plan going in, or was it very much see what's in front of you? And
well, I mean, there was a little bit of game plan, a little bit. Let his hands go where his speed's at, and obviously his strength's at. Well, a little bit more kicking on the end of his hand combinations. I'd say, if I was to play as a devil's advocate, if I was to pick fault, and I don't want to pick fault, it was probably didn't kick enough at the end on his combinations and in general as such. He had glimpses of it when like I said, lovely right hand there.
The split right hand was on all day.
Yeah, he landed that. Yeah, we worked on that a lot actually going into the fight, because he was neglecting his right hand a little bit in sparring, get his lead foot inwards a bit more and bowling that overhand a little bit. And as you just seen there in that short clip, he he landed a lot in this fight. I think at the end of the second round, even putting the leg down after
Yeah,
the spin off.
he dropped the lad, and it was not by coincidence either. Literally that week, Josh Hamilton had been drilling that rolling under the left hook, bumping off the shoulder and throwing the right hand, and it was almost picture perfect how he landed it. It was fresh in his mind from drilling it that week, and you'll see in I think it's the second round where he drops him. He could have even stopped him, but sort of time was on his side.
Yeah, he got saved by the bell. I think got
Well, I thought he was out when we saw it.
Yeah.
A-side, it looked like the guy had just
he was. I mean,
he just splayed out, and
unless his corner was shut and just stayed down, they knew. But
I ran back to the changing room when he went down because I didn't think he was getting up, and I went and told Jake and Riley and Jack who were warming up. Zach's just knocked him out, and then all of a sudden we hear the crowd roaring again, and I'm like, "Oh, it's still going on." Yeah.
So, what was the message in between rounds 1 and 2, if you can remember?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. I can't remember. I'd be lying if I said I could remember.
Obviously,
a bit more kicking on the end there, keep the pressure. Do you know what I mean? Don't over move. These are the things I remember saying along the lines of the right hand's there for you, landing it well. So you got there, still legged him there. You know,
you're going to the body and up the middle quite well.
Yeah, I mean, 14-year-old, big gloves and have head guard and stilt legger, lad 2-3 years older, and it's pretty impressive. You know, that's got some
length on him,
some serious punching power, and at such a young age. I mean,
one thing I've noticed about Zach, as much as he might be immature in some aspects with being a kid, his diet and his preparation, sometimes he's matured a lot more just recently, but in the past, he always turns up fight day. I noticed that at the Four Nations. Maybe he hadn't prepared the best in terms of an MMA scenario. Obviously, know his striking's very good, but he hadn't been on his grappling as much. But he still turned up, come to fight, and gave it his best shot. He always tends to leave it all out there. And I think the maturity in his training and outside of the actual fight is going to come over the next few years. And the athleticism and everything else he's got in abundance, and the mindset for fighting. I really do think he has got a good mindset for fighting. He turns up whatever the preparation, whatever the scenario, he turns up.
Yeah, absolutely. He's built for it, you know what I mean, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, 14 years old, and
exactly, yeah.
Like he hits like a full-blown adult, doesn't he?
Exactly.
And his speed.
He's not men out in the gym and drop people in the gym. He's an handful. As he keeps growing and getting more mature, and picks up that work ethic a little bit, like Joe mentioned.
Just the work ethic and the diet. Yeah. That's the shot.
Yeah, that was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
So he kind of slid him by, didn't he? And as the guy turned
rolled
back
off
into
under that hook,
hit him with the right hand,
and spun off. Yeah.
He did it twice, and he got behind him. Didn't throw the right hand the first time, and then did it again. He did it twice, didn't he? So just before he landed that right hand, he got his back, bumped him off, didn't throw anything, and then did the same thing again and got him with the right hand on the second time he did it. And Zach Jem was my hardest round. Thursday, we were doing rounds after jits, and he was my hardest round, mate. And it's 14. I was like, "What's going on? Get off my back, Zach. I don't like it."
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Once he starts taking his grappling seriously, which he said he's going to start doing it, he started off grappling. He started off with me in his shed, like COVID time. Started when I think he was like 11, 12 at the time. Started off grappling, and then obviously met Jimmy and eventually Josh and fell in love with his striking. But he's a good grappler. When he puts his mind to it, he's a very good grappler. And I think now he's got this ADCC comp booked. He said he's going to focus on his grappling a lot more. That's giving him an incentive to train for. Like I say, athleticism, all the attributes in abundance. He's just got to put the time in. I PT'd him and Jake this morning. I could see he was switched on. He was listening a lot more than he has done in the past. And he looked really good, man. He's just got to focus and have that same enthusiasm he has with his striking.
So obviously going into the third round now, I actually thought there was only 3 rounds, but obviously it's a title fight. So was it 5-2s or 5-3s?
Yeah, 5 rounds, 5-2s.
5-2s.
Yeah.
So look, because obviously it's a ferocious pace. Was there any talk of make sure you pace yourself a bit, or?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. I
keep the momentum going.
No. I think picked on over moving a little bit. I lost count of who won what rounds. To be honest, so watching it back, I think that looks great. Obviously, the kids walking forward. It depends how they score these K1 fights. Sometimes traditional K1. I've been to K1 fights with guys in the past, and thought my guys have won, landed better hand to leg combinations, but the other person's just kicked, and we've lost fights on decision. So maybe here, maybe having the MMA judges, they appreciated Zach's hands a little bit more. Maybe in a K1 fight, Zach might not have won this because of the scoring criteria. That's, you know.
I always remember when my friend Mark Timms used to fight Thai. They scored the Thai Thai. They scored the kicks so much higher than the punches. Really, the punches aren't even judged unless you knock the guy down or out. And Mark was like, and K-Star, the Jimmy come from, was quite punching heavy. So you'd see them boxing guys up, but the other guy who might come from a traditional Thai gym would be landing nice kicks, and the score at the end would be much closer than you'd think it was, just because they score the kicks so highly and appreciate the kicks so much more. I think K1, they do judge it a little bit more overall, but
bit more the Thai.
A bit more than the Thai, yeah.
Well, I remember going to Sugi's show, and that was K1. There wasn't Thai, it was K1, and they were like, you can't take one step backwards. So obviously Zach's circling, and maybe certainly, I mean, the advice in between rounds, subject was don't over move as much, and make sure you're putting a kick on the end a little bit more. That was what the advice was at this point. I know that was the advice at this point.
Because he's got such powerful leg kicks, hasn't he?
Yeah, he kicks really well, But obviously getting that success with the hands and dropping him at a young age, he thinks he can do that. He's obviously solely focused. I mean, I've been there myself. You knock someone out, you think you can just do it again.
With your hands.
A little bit, yeah.
Ooh,
but as Joe said, and I was saying, Sugi's show, I remember saying, no steps backwards. You know, don't say you step back, that'll be penalised. So obviously Zach's moving in, that'll be penalised. And obviously Charlie throwing the more kicks would score better. So it's a lovely psychic. You know, I mean, Zach's got the legs. Feel like he just maybe got a little bit punch happy in this one, and then a little bit tired at this point as well.
That Charlie from when I watched, sorry to interrupt you, but that Charlie, he come back as well. So it was great from Zach to even. He started well, then that Charlie come back and maybe even took over towards the middle, and then Zach finished strong. So it was a really up and down, back and forth fight. Yeah, I mean, I think it was very well. The fights I did see from the balcony, you know, it certainly was the best. Obviously, I was at ringside for this one, but there's some good fights in that card. But to get a fight the night, it's a great honour for the lads. Do you know what I mean? I think that
was it fight of the night.
A fight of the night, yeah. You got a fight of the night. They announced it as fight of the night. It was. Like I said, we've got it on mute now, but if the sound was on, you'd hear the crowd going mental. The commentators were getting into it and everything, I'm pretty sure. So it was good, man. And it's Charlie, a lovely kid as well, and you know, enough respect to him, and obviously his corner and coaching stuff, we know them, and it was a great match. And like I say, different show and different judges' criteria might have gone the other way, but as far as what we did is that was, in our eyes, I thought Zach won at the end of the fight.
Yeah, and, I mean, obviously I'm biased.
Go for it again, yeah.
There it is again. Lovely. Obviously I'm biased, so I could see Zach winning every round, but I thought the first three were quite clearly his, but then the Charlie lad, his opponent, came on very strong later. I think he found his range with the kicks a bit more in the last two, didn't he?
A little bit, and I think I was a little bit fatigued on Zach's behalf, even though he blasted this because he had nice, Zach throwing a bit more legs. I think a little bit of fatigue on Zach over moving a little bit. I can't wait to see the fifth round back. I haven't watched it.
The output's still there from Zach.
But in my head, I thought I started the fifth round really hard. I can't remember, I was speaking all sorts. But at the time, I thought maybe it was 2-2, or Zach was 3-1 up. But I thought that try came out mad hard in the fifth. In the first 90 seconds or first minute, whatever it was, but off the round in my head, I remember thinking that Charlie's bossed his first round or really showed his card. But then he gassed by trying to go all big in the first half of the round. Then I felt like Zach came stronger, and that's what pips it at the end. I'll watch it back. I might be totally wrong. Chain, absolute waffle.
That's what I remember.
Cage side,
in my
that's
mind
how
as
I
well.
remember it being in my head. And I was confident at the end of the fight that Zach had won. And I think it's just, you know, it's 14, man. Nerves, fighting for a title in his second fight, like it's massive. You know what I mean? He's handling it well. And like I said, I know his kid's only 17, this Charlie, but 12, 13 fights? Where's he at?
I'm not sure how many fights he's had, but I know he's definitely older and more experienced.
And a lot more fights.
And he comes, like I said earlier, he comes back into this, and Zach has to take it up another notch. The Charlie definitely come in midway from what I remember on the balcony, but then Zach finishes strong. Like, you see Charlie landing good shots now. He comes back and puts some pressure on Zach here, so Zach has to dig deep and turn the tide again.
So this is the fourth round, I think, isn't it?
Third or fourth.
Yeah, so that's the end of the 4th round, I think.
Yeah, so this is the last round.
Yeah, going into the last round. You can see Zach's tired, but like you said, he
so
turns
Charlie,
up on
though,
there, he's mentally, and I think that's the most important thing,
He's
isn't it? Some
definitely
people,
a fighter,
some people have all the physical tools, but it's difficult to mentally zone in on the night, and to be able to do that at 14 years old, not to say as the stage gets bigger and bigger, he won't get more nerves as his career goes on. But the fact that he can handle it at this early stage,
he definitely gets nervous.
Is a very
it's
good
how
attribute.
he harnesses the nerves and adrenaline. Like I say, he definitely gets nervous, but it's how he harnesses the nerves and adrenaline. He's very mature in that sense, how he can zone in on the task at hand and not get too distracted by the outside influences and letting his mind wander. He just wants to fight. He just wants to get in there and fight. Even the warming up and everything, it's just a bit tedious to him. You can see he's ready to go. He wants to get in there and fight. I remember at the Four Nations, he was eyeballing his opponent backstage. He was warming up in the same area as us. He's definitely got that dog in him, Zach has.
No, and to be fair, you can teach him all the skills you want. And it can be as great as you want, but if they can't, I've seen it loads of times over the years, if you can't do it on Fight Night, this is the quality. This is what you need to be really successful. As great as you want to be, it comes down to it. It's a fight, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's always a great quality in such a young lad as well. So
it's the old Rocky quote, isn't it? You can't teach heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can't. And gameness. You know what I mean? Gameness and toughness and mental durability.
And Jim always say, Josh and Jim always says, you got to be confident. You got to step in on your shots. You got to. Do you know what I mean? Go forward. If you're tentative all the time and you're not engaging like you need to be able to land those big shots, they're never going to land. So sometimes you might have to take one to land one. And Zach's always biting down in his gum shield, stepping in and throwing those shots how they're meant to be thrown. He's not hanging around in mid-range. Every time you see he's stepping in and he's trying to take the guy out.
Someone says the path to victory is to fight like you're already dead.
Yeah.
That's it's a good embodiment of the philosophy, isn't it?
That was a nice name.
Yeah, that was a nice name, wasn't it?
That's good. Caught Zach a little bit there.
So 5th round, you can see they're both tired.
Yeah, both tired.
Both still going for it.
That head guard as well was a fucking, pain in the bum for Zach. It's constantly pulling it down, weren't it? It was bothering him. We should have sparred in that multiple times before the fight, but we didn't. It really bugged him. If you watch it, he's constantly touching that blooming head guard.
Itching, and coming down in front
of the eye. Look there again, it's just falling down in front of his face. It was not a great shot. He's put that left hook on the end a bit more, and just the legs at the end of his combinations for these K1 matches. That's all. A bit more kicking and a new bloody head guard. Because look, it was constantly. If you look at all them pictures as well, you can't see Zach after the fight. You can't see Zach's eyes and after the photos.
Respect to both lads. They're both leaving it all out there, and you see Zach here. I think he puts his hands up. The other guy goes down. Yeah, he puts his hands up. Great fight. Respect to them both. At the age they're at, to put on a show like that was fantastic.
Yeah, I think they're knocked down.
And you said, Jim, you're confident in the decision once the fight ended.
In Zach's performance, I thought he did enough from my side. Yeah, obviously. Opponent's home show, but then I wasn't thinking. I was thinking of the rules of the fight. I don't know what the judges who were judging's perspective, how they judge the rules of this fight. Even though it's an MMA show, the judges may have do regular K1. I don't know who the judges were. Do you know what I mean? So I did. You always do worry slightly, but from my perspective, on the show I thought Zach wouldn't be always worry about fighting, being the away fighter as well. Seen it met loads of times. We all have, haven't we? Crowd sway judges. So there's always an element of concern. But as far as my opinion and Zach's performance, I was like, yeah, we've got this. Do you know what I mean? I was really impressed with him. I think he did fantastic.
No. And what's next? Obviously, he's got ADCC coming up, which a lot of the team are on. But in terms of like MMA and K1, I suppose, where do you want to see Zach go from here in terms of fights?
With his age, take what we can.
I think he's more interested in kickboxing with being able to punch to the head and keeping it like he likes the realism of fighting, like the MMA that's allowed at his age with just the body shots. I think he feels like he'd be better off doing grappling comps. So the only thing with just doing grappling comps, you kind of lose the wall wrestling. You lose the experience wall wrestling at that lower level, amateur level. But he can do all of that in the gym. I think when it comes to competition, he wants as close to a real fight as possible. So I think that's where he's probably more inclined to fight K1 and then maybe do grappling comps up until he's able to fight proper amateur MMA.
Okay, so next up, I think it was literally the next fight up, right? Or was there a fight in
I think
between?
there's one fight in between.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
always
so.
a couple in between, one.
There's some violent ground and pound in this one, so viewers at home, maybe brace yourselves.
Remember to, share the mic.
I can't. No, the moment's come and gone.
So, yeah, again, teed us up for us, Jimmy and Joe. Jake Wills, first official amateur MMA fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he'd had a couple of fights at the Four Nations, but like they're the junior or juvenile rule set with the no striking to the head. So this was his first full amateur MMA contest, as you can see, no shin guards, full rules, just no heel hooks or knees to the head or elbows to the head, twisting submissions, that kind of thing. But as good as it gets, really, without going professional.
Yeah. Yeah, and he gave away a bit of weight for the fight. The kid was from Stockport MMA, so Sean Lomas, obviously one of the most vets MMA fighters in the UK. For everyone from UFC, ex-UFC fighters to Bellator fighters, for everyone. Sean Lomas, the guy's coach, so super experienced. Had like 150 fights.
Oh wow!
So yeah, he's got like 40 wins as well. So he's lost probably 90 fights, but he's won 30 or he's a solid journeyman. So a lot of experience. So the kids, power punching we expected, and everything's gonna be power and hard low kick. We kind of knew what to expect with the lad. But we have all confidence in Jake. He lives it, he breathes it. Work ethic every day, and the hard work showed in this fight for me.
Again, there was some more nerves, maybe a tad more nerves with Jake, but he turns up like once he got in there. I always remember Tom Owen saying when he used to fight, it was like jumping in cold water. It'd take a few seconds to adjust, and then you slowly and gradually realise like this is not that much different to the gym. I'm all good. I'm actually pretty good at this, and I think Jake's confidence grew throughout the fight. Yeah. I remember when he come to the corner in the before the second round, he said, I think I'm going to take him down, because even though this round goes to the ground, I think he was testing out his striking a little bit more in the first round. He landed some good shots, that fly-by right hand and stuff. This guy who he's fighting here, he did keep tangling up a little bit with the legs in front. Jake needed to swim his hands a little bit more in front, get to that high mount to be able to land the ground and pound here. But it's just awkward. It's just awkward stuff the kid's doing that Jake's not really used to. He's maybe used to dealing with a tad more skilled grappler. This guy's just throwing up unorthodox stuff. It caught Jake out a couple of times, but he handled it, and he weathered any storm that come his way, and always got the fight back to where he wanted it.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty flawless in all ways. I mean, that striking was lovely, changing stance, range control, lovely fakes, southpaw, jump back knees, jabs and low kicks. He bossed every area, took him down at will, and controlled him on the ground, apart from a few abstract, unorthodox things the kid's done. But the kids, again, I think it was the same age, but I think Jake was giving away, 5 kilos to the weigh-in, and then I think the kid probably cut a little bit. So, I don't know how much heavier the kid is, but so the kid out-muscled him in a couple of jits positions with, extra weight and a bit of extra strength. Other than that, it was flawless. I don't think Jake got hit, did he?
Not really.
No, one low kick. So
I think it was a good match in that sense, wasn't it? Because obviously Jake only just recently turned 16, so still like quite a young lad. Obviously very skilled. So for them to both be the same age, even though the lad was a bit heavier, I think that was a good match for Jake's first fight, wasn't it?
Yeah. When we got off of the fight, it was the right fight to take, and with his skill set, a few kilos of weight at that age, with who he trains with and how he handles, obviously a lot of bigger, older guys on the mat regular. It's a no-brainer. Can't let these opportunities pass by for these young fighters. When it's an opportunity like that where we think, our guys are better in all areas, so you've got to get that experience and put it into practice. I mean, look, just lovely range, land the low kick, back to range, in and out. Kid,
said it's the perfect matchup. I just think it's the perfect matchup for Jake to get that cage time in, to get that experience. Jake was by far the more refined, technical, skilled fighter, but this kid, take anything away from him, he was tough. He got out of a few bad spots. He never gave up right until the last minute. So he gave Jake that experience. So props to him, respect to him. Jake was just all round the better fighter, I felt, and it showed round by round.
Yeah. Yeah, basically did as he pleased. You know,
And
yeah.
then was that the game plan? Just to because I'm guessing. Well, this guy was debuting as well, so I'm guessing he wasn't
Yeah,
really
I
able to
mean,
take on him.
the first plan was the low kick trade. He kind of missed that a little bit. I think he didn't realise the kid was actually going to try and boot his leg off, fully leg off, and I think it just like shocked him a bit. The idea was to low kick trade him, light him up on the striking, move on him, turn him all day. We expected linear movement, so pulls and turns. You see, Jake's changing his stance at will and controlling the range. Like I say, he missed that low kick trade a little bit, maybe a little bit more hands, but because the kid was throwing with mad power, like all his effort, Jake just played it safe, which is the right thing to do. And then, I think he flybys to a body lock and scores that, and passes on the ground and controls and did some nice ground and pound patterns and used his armpit and neck check, and just was coached throughout the fight, reacted to the coaching cues with both Gev and
He listened very well.
It's just range management, everything neat the whole time, shape all the time, twitchy. That's where he's making a mistake. That's the low kick. That's probably the one strike he took in the fight. We knew that was coming, but calling for that low kick trade. And I think Jay maybe this round got a little bit thinking, he's throwing everything rock hard. I'm just going to play it safe and maybe just hold to Jake striking a little bit. But look at Fate 1-2, my favourite, Lovely. Yeah, I mean, it's just dominating, really.
I remember, like Jim said earlier, there was a couple of occasions where the lad, through like awkward, unorthodox, and a little bit of strength, managed to hustle Jake on the ground. But each time, Jake's skill prevailed, and there were some lovely transitions, I think, in this round where Jake actually gets reversed, but then ends up retaking top position with like some real jiu-jitsu and wrestling skill. Like the lad here, just hanging on his neck. Jake's got to be aware of it, but just calm. Taking his time, gets to the body, lovely leg hook there, takes him down, and then he's almost passed straight into side, pulling him off the cage, getting between his opponent and the cage. Just everything Jim teaches in an MMA scenario. And he was listening the whole time to instructions, trying to pass through to the half guard here. I remember clearly saying to him, stop trying to pass half guard, sit in the half guard, which is something that me and Jimmy call for quite a lot. It's not jiu-jitsu, it's MMA. You want top control. Passing that half guard could give the kid a chance to scramble, bridge, reverse, which he did do on a couple of occasions, but Jake's skill prevailed.
Yeah.
He loves a guillotine, doesn't he, Jake? He's looking for that a little bit.
Maybe too much. Yeah. But he has got a great guillotine. He gets it a lot in the gym, doesn't he?
I remember him saying to me, I think it was a month before the fight, I was like, is there anything like jiu-jitsu you want to work on? He was like, Japanese neck. I thought it was going to be something like, passing. Something a bit more general. He just went, Japanese necktie. Yeah, I want to get him with a Japanese necktie.
Yeah. Can always be a bit awkward. And then big gloves can't hit a necktie, and then big amateur gloves. A bit awkward. Yeah. But sitting in the half guard, that's all the boys know that. Good for the MMA. If you pass the side, sometimes it can be very hard to keep one of these strong, scrambly, poppy guys. He's just throwing up some like old school crazy stuff that Sean showed him. Do you know what I mean? Trying to get out the back door and create a scramble. It's good to feel it.
He's quite physical. He's quite strong. He's definitely the bigger man as well. Jake had to have his wits about him, and it just showed that technique will always overcome.
You need Jake in the head there, and kick Jake in the head a couple of times with up kicks. Jake weren't happy, but.
I think that guy had moves and tricks, very unorthodox ones, but you could tell Jake had systems.
Systems, patterns, and control.
Systems, a comprehensive game. Whereas that guy was kind of looking for one kick, one reversal, one submission.
Yeah.
I think it's just a massive testament to the coaching and the quality of it, because there's not one thing Jake's done in this fight that we've not drilled in the gym or practiced or rehearsed, or there's not been a position or a situation that he's not seen before or you've not spoken on at some point, both of yous. And I just think that's big ups to use to as much as to Jake and Zach's. You know what I mean? Skill and hard work.
It was. I thought we were in the third round. Then this is the third round now. So there's some good transitions on the ground in this round where the lad actually out hustles Jake with a little bit of strength and tenacity, and Jake uses his skill. Obviously, he's fit and capable as well. And Jake's developed his strength working with Nathan and stuff. I've definitely noticed an improvement in his posture and how he's developed as a man. But or a young man, in this round, you'll see some good transitions on the ground. I remember this quite well.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. Obviously, I think he's very strong for his age and his weight in particular. But give him 2-4 years when he's still going to keep upskilling. But then as well, he's going to get his man strength. He's going to develop real strength, power, and speed, and it
Lovely calf
to be
kick.
reckoned with.
That's a lovely calf kick. 2 lovely calf kicks there as the guy steps on it. Again, just bread and butter drills. Lead hand, lead leg, keeping his range. It's just bread and butters. It's just, there's nothing too fancy here. It's just doing it pretty flawlessly, And that was just that. It sounds like you're not impressed. It's just it was that perfect. It was just
yeah. Well, it was a pretty flawless.
Yeah,
right?
Nice body lock and lift. It was perfect. It was perfect. Out of all the performances that night, it was. Oh, okay, Perry got the finish. But he had a bit of adversity. He got caught with a couple of shots, a little bit, and a bit of pressure off him. I think Jay got 1 low kick.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Yeah, I am going to ask you both at the end for a performance tonight. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I think they're all in their own right. I think they're all in their own right. Obviously,
it's very hard to take nothing away from the other guys.
Yeah, obviously it goes without saying, everyone won. Sorry for the spoiler. Everyone won. So yeah, and regardless, they're all great performances in their own right.
Yeah. And against, not one of them had to give me either. That's the thing. So Zach's guy, older, more experienced champion. Jake's guy, a little bit older, loads heavier, equal experience from a reputable gym.
Nice.
Ella's girl, bloody Resurrection. The guys, their coaches used to fight on shows with me. They've been around for years.
She looked like a very athletic girl.
Yeah, super athletic. She fought on IMF and stuff. And Perry's guy.
So watch this transition
very,
here.
very
I remember
good.
this. He hustles here well, Jake. He gets onto a single leg, I believe. No, he gets onto the double, reverses the position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using his leg hooks really well from the body lock. He did this yesterday in the gym as well. Went for an Oruchi on one of the big uni lads. Got to be 82 kilos. Went for a lovely inside trip. But watching me, because I was watching, looked at me. I went, go on then. But he didn't drop his knee right, so he messed up the inside trip a little bit, but then followed it into a lovely leg hook. He likes these leg hooks. He's very, very good at these leg hooks.
I think they work well as well with his entries, don't they?
Yeah.
In and out, and then what Josh has taught him, that kind of blitzing in.
Yeah, because it kind of eliminates the sprawl. They don't usually sprawl, do they, if you're blitzing fast, you know what I mean?
His frame as well, although he is short, he's got quite long legs and arms, hasn't he? He's got a boxy torso with long legs and arms. That's why he likes high elbow guillotines and darcies and stuff like that as well. He's got the limb length and triangles. His limb length is definitely a good attribute for him. Considering his shortness in height, his limb length.
Yeah, bossed it. That's lovely. That was a lovely performance. I mean, that kid, pushes him onto up his training. He was a nice, respectful young man. Obviously, he's worked his heart out for this, But what don't kill you makes you stronger. And tonight was Jake's night, and I think he'll just go keep going from strength to strength. Like I say, he lives in the gym, like all you boys. Put the work in, get results. Put the correct work in, get the correct results. It's a simple method. It's a simple equation. Methods to success, isn't it? And obviously, it's a tough old game, and we can't go. We've had a few nights like this, these flawless nights, these 4-0s, these 3-0s. That one at BMF before, when I was at Cage Warriors with Marcus. You was there as well. Cage Warriors, Marcus Hetworth.
No, that was just before I joined.
Was that just before?
I was there watching, but I wasn't there cornering.
Who was that? Marcus Hetworth and Trim. We've had these flawless nights, but had some rough nights as well. You lose a decision here.
Gone 3-0 on golden ticket before, haven't we?
Yeah, and golden ticket as well. Yeah, we've done it, many, many times. But it's a tough old game, it's a tough old game. But you got to, even to put yourself in the hat of these nights, you got to live like we're doing. It don't always go your way, but at least we to have these results against, top gyms and performances like that, we're doing something right in there. So we just got to keep improving, and the guys, keep that work ethic and the camaraderie and that hard working mentality we'll keep going in the right direction.
And in terms of what's next for Jake is just continue, keep active, keep
active
record.
Yeah, keep active, find a decent barbers and just keep going.
So we got Ella next, yeah. VMF 7 against Millie Vardy. So Ella had a bit of a tough time in this camp because this was a quick turnaround. She'd fought about 3 weeks before, was it, Jim?
Yeah.
And then she'd picked up an injury in between. Her back wasn't quite right. So her striking looked a little bit off in this. And Ella's striking is good usually, but I don't think she had the confidence because she hadn't sparred as much trying to work the camp around this injury. But her grappling and her wrestling prevailed. Her ground and pound prevailed. So she was able to call on alternative skill sets here.
She
big and long.
Yeah, fought on IMAF as well. I had IMAF experience as well, hadn't she, Millie? Was it Europeans? Yeah. Was it European gold? Was she?
The 4 Nations.
I knew she had IMAF experience, and she was a good girl. Like I said, I know her coaches and stuff, and again, they've got loads of bodies, and they train properly. Everyone trains properly. Anyone from a reputable gym trains properly. You just got to try and give them little sprinkles of X factor in it, and try and do them bits more, but. This girl was very good, and like I say, Ella's back. She hurt it in the warm up. She told me after. I picked up on it, and I said to her, "Did you?" She said no in the warm up. Then she told me after the fight, she tweaked her back in the warm up. She was hurting in the warm up when she was. She did it with Riley. Who was she doing it with? I can't remember. She did one.
Tom Owen, weren't it? Yeah.
She did a scramble, and she was like my. She didn't tell me at the time. Somehow she even hurt her back in the warm up. So she walked into this fight even twinging her back in the warm up.
She was very compromised.
So she was, she was a little bit compromised. And again, in the striking, like Joe said, Ella's very, very confident in the striking. She's like a gamer, and because the back had hindered her sparring prior to the fight, you can see it a little bit on the feet. But she get clean shape, and she stayed neat. You could just see it because we know her person. Maybe watch this back, you wouldn't even tell.
But I think Millie's limb length put her off a little bit as well. The front kick, Millie used the front kick quite well. I think Ella just more punched into the clinch, got the takedown as soon as possible. And then when she was on top, I remember we drilled quite profusely in the change rooms just because Millie's long, the threat of triangles, arm bars, staying square on the hips, following the hips, and eventually getting to the passing position like Ella's looking at doing now. But her ground and pound and the way she was stapling the arms as she got past the legs and just opening up Millie's face for shots was really good.
Yeah, I didn't even know that she tweaked her back. That makes a lot of sense. Because she did just seem a bit more tentative on the feet than usual. Because looking at what Millie was doing, I thought Ella could even beat her on the feet, but she seemed very keen to pursue the grappling, so that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not hindering or calling Millie at all, innit? It's just, I think Ella could have, she has a lot more to show. Not could have done more because she has bad back.
With that
she has
said,
a lot
though,
more
it was
to show.
still a completely dominant performance.
Completely dominant again. Completely, pretty flawless. Took no damage.
Worst day.
Yeah, took no damage. Position control, takedowns, ground and pound. Bismarck went over the arm pick and neck check, weren't it, in this fight?
Just to get
she was she was losing a bit of position on the ground and pound, weren't she? If I remember, was making hard work of it. I think it was this fight and after this round, but all the coaching stuff again, she did and did in between rounds, did in the next rounds, and
once again sitting in the half guard, not rushing to pass, and just picking her shots, flattening her out with the underhook.
All three of them who fought MMA were in all ranges.
I think she gets up kicked here. Well, in one of the rounds she does.
It just skims her face, doesn't it? And Ella sticks her tongue out or something, right? Is that it?
I think the girl thought it landed flush and it did, and Ella sort of winked or stuck her tongue out at her.
Yeah.
We love the balance.
Yeah. No, but everyone was flawless in all ranges. You know what I mean? I really felt like we showcased clean striking, clean wrestling, and clean jiu-jitsu and clean MMA. I think.
Not to give away the company secrets, but is there an area that you have in mind that you think we need to work more on in general?
All of them.
Yeah, of course. Anything in particular, or do you think we're pretty well rounded? I'd say we're pretty well rounded.
Yeah, I think maybe we need to find a session and do maybe just more wall work. But we've been looking really good on the wall in these fights, but it's just something we haven't got a specific session for. I love bits on the Monday and the Saturday and stuff, but I think maybe do something with that.
It's such a massive area of MMA.
Yeah.
You can't do enough of it, can you? And it's,
Right.
it's so niche to MMA. There's not wall working, grappling, or wrestling, or jiu-jitsu, is there? But in MMA, half the fight's spent on the wall, really.
Yeah, I mean, the daytime guys get plenty of wall, don't they? But
Yeah.
the evening, there's not as many, obviously, in the day. The evening guys don't get as much walling, but all the patterns have landed here, say all these leg hooks and the flybys, all the basic patterns have landed in these fights. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And the scrambles, getting side turtle and control, all that. The MMA.
Jake got that heel hook on the
leg hook.
and then Ella went for it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all there, even them simple patterns. I just feel like we could maybe level up there a lot more. Maybe we should need to find time for the evening. But it's so hard.
Good head position here from Ella, getting into the position. I think she uses a judo here to get her over the hip.
She tries to clock her. She tries something a little bit silly in this round, if you remember. She tries to throw her on the whizzer on the wrong, do you know?
Yeah, and exposes her back.
Yeah, a little bit. It's nice for on the whizzer if they body lockers and be counter with that. But Ella can't, I think it's here. She tries to force it against the cage on the whizzer. I think it is here. She tries to throw in a second. And it could have backfired. I don't think it did, if I remember correctly, but it wasn't the greatest. And I think she looks over to us and nods. I think she hears us. Am I right? You know what I'm on about?
Yeah, I remember it. I don't know if it's at this time, but I do remember that
She looks and like nods, don't she? And then I think she gets a head position and does a nice leg hook.
She gets the leg hook here, or she was going for it.
Needs better head position, really. But
this is the third round, isn't it? I think they're both feeling it a little bit now. It's quite a physical contest, isn't it? But Ella's just grinding her out here, knees against the cage, foot stomps, head position.
Realistically, she'd been looking to pull her onto that whizzer and look for that inside trip with that left leg, not Uchimata or try and throw her that whizzer. Do you know what I mean? That would have been a bit better decision making. That's what I mean. This is what I'm saying. I mean, inside trip there, she missed it. Do you know what I mean? It's like she probably hasn't drilled it with us in the evening as much, but that's something we do most mornings, right? How much have you done that?
Drills that
you're resting on the walls, getting pretty fucking good, right?
Yeah, I feel
like you're taking Josh down now when he's attacking on the wall. That didn't used to happen and stuff. No. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like I've got a bit more dialogue on the wall now.
Yeah,
more options.
Yeah, more options.
And understanding it a bit
more,
and I feel like
110 all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like for something to improve, that's something we need to probably look at. Because the striking, the jits, everyone's got patterns and shape and a plan in them. On the wall, I think there's a bit more of a plan defensively. I just think attacking, we need to level it up a little bit, to be honest. I think the defence we've done enough that in the evenings defensive wise, everyone's getting better at that. Like Jack Henshaw in that golden ticket fight, that was pretty flawless defence. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like defence people are getting that, but attacking wise, we've got like a couple of simple patterns, but then that inside trip there. If I had been drilling that in the daylight,
just the neck checking and the armpit checking, the actual combinations of ground and pound, which you go over quite a lot.
Yeah,
they just need a little bit more repetition and time drilling that rather than just.
But then it's the time. We need to figure out how to make that time, don't we?
Yeah.
But that's what I'd like to start trying to figure out.
Maybe in the open mats and stuff.
Maybe
like
that. Maybe one of them open mats a squad. We've spoke about that, haven't we? We've had a few ideas roll over lately. We're trying to figure out quite a few bits, but again, she's not tired. She's not hurt, and again, she bosses it. Do you know what I mean?
So is that the end of the?
I thought I was the second. I thought I was the second. Is it the end? Is it done? No, one more. One more, yeah.
Yeah, these MMA ones seem to be dragging. It's only a minute extra than Zach's, isn't it? Zach's was 2. So
yeah.
These MMA ones.
Edit that, Ella. Joe's not bored, Ella.
I was something I just wanted to say. I think what makes Ella so good is that she's got a really good background in grappling with a judo. I think she has got a background in striking as well, hasn't she? I'm not sure exactly.
I think she did a bit of shiny pants kickboxing, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what level, but I think she did a little bit. She certainly come in with some experience in different ranges,
Yeah, so she's proficient in both. So if she comes up against someone that's, maybe a bit of a better grappler, she can lean on a striking more. She comes up against someone that's a better striker, she can lean on a grappling more. And then as well, her physicality. There's not many girls out there that have the physicality that Ella has.
And before the fight, I said these girls on this regional level, even though you're compromised with your back, they're not your level. She's just a better competitor than a lot of these girls. She wants it more, like you say, she's physical, she's skilled, but just a better competitor most of the time, I feel.
Absolutely. But again, we're saying that, and we're looking at it, and this is a 60, what was it, 65 cents, what was this? What was this fight?
70.
Yeah, 70, wasn't it? Listen, me and I chatted about this week. I want her on a full-time S&C program with Nathan. I want her on this diet all year round, not just for fights, because even here, she's the smaller girl. Yeah, she's a smaller
she
girl.
can definitely make featherweight.
She can make 65.
Yeah.
100%. She's 65. And then a lot more fight options will open up. She'll obviously be a lot stronger as well, doing that weights program and building that side of her game as well. And yeah, I think her cardio go up. I mean, she's carrying a bit excess. She agrees with me. You know what I mean? Like, get on the S&C, get her weight down, and I think featherweight's the future.
Definitely, yeah.
I'd
say so.
She wants a career
as a pro.
Yeah,
listen, the big strong girls. There's no other option but that. Realistically,
there's no lightweight.
There's no lightweight division. Yeah, there's no lightweight division.
No, not in the UFC. I don't believe it goes from feather down, doesn't it?
So
feather, bantam.
She needs to
fly atom. There's atoms in one championship.
Yeah, but we need to start. Like I said to the week, we need to start making them habits and
lifestyle change.
Like now, last week.
Your nutrition, your sleep,
we need to start.
Is as important as the skill training, or if not as important, it's still got to be.
It's all as important, level. You know what I mean? Especially at that elite level. And the thing is, she's got capability. Do you know what I mean? She's got capability to make the big show. You know what I mean? She's got a fight as well. She's got, pardon my French, she's got a fuck you, man. Like, Edda's got that, and she's got that. She loves it. Like, she literally loves to fight. It's a coach's dream, right? Yeah. A girl who loves to fight. Wow. And has got skills, and he's game as hell.
Teaches the skills. She's got the mindset. She's got the dog. She's got the fuck you, like Jimmy.
Yeah,
she's a competitor.
It's just skill set and the maybe a little bit of mindset, game plan, but the weight cut, the stuff where you can be lazy, not do my weights, not just lift weights how I like to lift weights and eat what I want to eat. I know I can do my diet and make the weight here. It's fully engrossed. Is she fully engrossed in herself? I believe Ella could go as far as she wants to go. I really believe that. I really do believe that. I think she's brilliant. I think she's absolutely brilliant. And I just love how she's such a bad bitch. I just love it. Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. She's a bad bitch. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. You know what I mean? She genuinely is a nasty piece of work, and we all love her for it. So, absolute props to her. With that back and
you wouldn't have really known it. Like I said,
no, that was I didn't see it there. Like watching that back, I've not looked at. I thought, she did look really sensitive.
No, she's gone 3 rounds 3 weeks before with another decent girl.
Yeah, Polish girl. Yeah, Polish girl was very good, wasn't she? Yeah,
a good fight with her 3 weeks prior. She's gone straight back into.
She camped really well as well. She did it with all the girls at GB top team and stuff.
And Ella schooled her.
Dominated. Bossed her. Yeah, and again, she was a bigger girl. She was a bigger girl, and she was lean. She was lean and she was big. And it was smaller and a little bit soft still in areas. Do you know what I mean? Like, she got Ella to her proper weight. Cardio and S&C through the roof and keep improving her skill set as she is and she has. Fucking hell. She's got, she can do it. Yeah, she can do it. She can do it. She can do what she... I hope she realises, she can achieve whatever she wants to achieve, man. She's brilliant. She's brilliant.
I mean, one foot in front of the other. She hasn't made a cut to featherweight before, but I think she could even make bantamweight potentially.
Realistically, but baby steps.
Molly McCann's just gone down to bantam, hasn't she? So I think they're similar frames, aren't they, Molly and Ella?
I think Molly's a bit shorter, but a hell of a lot denser, thicker. Yeah,
she's big frame.
But yeah,
finally the finale.
I heard this guy look. Really sexy. It's why
tee it up in a PC fight specific way. Who is Perry Clayton?
Fruitiest guy in the gym.
Fruitiest guy in the gym is probably a way of putting it. Gay activist, maybe another way of putting it.
Does not care about has
the gayest straight man you'll ever meet in your life. Yeah.
The gayest straight man you'll ever meet Yeah, I'm trying to keep it PC. I
Great
can't,
athlete, good
can't keep it
competitor.
PC.
Yeah, all joking aside.
Hormonal bitch. Oh! Yeah, let's
Yeah,
say
he
that.
had his moments in camp.
Had his moments in camp.
Always, whenever there was a moment like that, one thing I do rate about you, Perry, is you always hold your hands up and say, look,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You never let it go unsaid.
Yeah, and it's normal.
Yeah, it's just an
You do become.
You care a lot about what you're doing.
You do become an hormonal mess in camp, especially when you're taps in the head as well. It's that's it. No male attention. He gets a bit snappy. I can't do it PC. I can't do it. I can't do it PC. That's it. That's right. That's fine. That's fine. That's right. That was PC enough. I was like, don't go. That was great. That was great.
That was about as PC as that was going to be done. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Let's hear it from the man himself firsthand.
Here we go.
Yeah. So walking out, or warming up, walking out. Just take us through it. What's going through the mind? How are you feeling?
No, calm, man. Good. I think I said it before on the podcast. It's like you can interpret this feeling of like I'm getting ready to fight another man in my underwear in front of a bunch of people. Like I think the feeling that everyone feels is fairly similar, and it's down to how you interpret it. And I just you can't have excitement without a little bit of risk and a bit of this could go wrong and I could get hurt. You have to acknowledge that. But I'm just happy to accept that and go out, and walking out was G, man. Like just take it all in. I was like, this is never coming round again. Like I could have another fight with another person. It could go the same way, but it'll never be this here and now. So I want to take my time with this walkout. I want to make sure, saying my props to the people watching who came to support. And Timo did not blink, mate. I was like, I'm going to stare him down. And he did not blink, bro, the whole time I was getting in the cage. I was like, this guy's tapped. And
he came to play. He was game.
Yeah, game. Real game. Tough guy, man. Like, props to him. Not a bad word to say. He was sound after the fight, and he was a tough guy in the cage, and definitely wanted it before, during, and probably, he'd be happy to run it. I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but yeah, it was good. Props to him, and just wanted to make it a memory.
Yeah, you into the cage, I definitely felt like Perry, considering I've never cornered Perry before. It was your first proper amateur MMA fight. I know you've had jiu-jitsu comps I've been there for. It's totally different. You were very present. I could see you were obviously nervous, which is totally normal. Like there was some nervous energy, but that's good. That makes you alert. That makes you ready. It's the same when I've been backstage with Jim, even at his big experience level, your first fight, his 50th fight. You see the same similarities. Yeah, it's normal. Very present.
Yeah, you're great. You warmed up great. You looked all day. Do-rag on, smirk on your face, confident, and we lost your link. It's gone. Oh, Perry looks sick and sexy. Yeah,
it was that quick.
But yeah, you look present, confident. I think you was.
You're just there.
Happy,
confident.
You prep.
Word present.
Yeah,
I think everyone said that, and I concur. I think that was in the walkout and the fight present.
But you were aware of the risks.
Yeah. And the opponent.
Good camp. Good corner team. Owen lives in his corner.
Yeah, top camp. Top coaches in his corner.
Experience, 3 or 4 fights.
Strong. Come out. Yeah, more experienced. Came out southpaw, throwing heat, and then watch.
The striking is
pretty.
Perry's striking definitely like that pays dividends in this.
Yeah, we've been around it a couple of weeks before about his shape. He was losing shape a little bit, weren't you? In sparring.
Talking of shape, look at the shape on the man.
That shape. Yeah.
That's aesthetic, isn't it?
Choose your character screen on a fight game.
Pink gum shield, just letting him know.
Yeah. But you kept your shape well. You kept your range, and obviously. I think you finished the fight with the same thing I threw on Skabinski. That back knee, wasn't it, to the body? Same thing.
It was, I didn't realise I threw one. We drill that all the time.
The
they break and then throw the knee.
Yeah.
Right to the solar plexus as well.
That's pretty
It was pretty.
So it takes him a minute or so to
he
find
didn't
his
know
range.
his southpaw. He come out a little bit square and a little bit on the inside, and he come
So-
out pretty hard. But before you know it, that right hand starts finding him. You
It's the
break
head
it.
kick as well, isn't it? Perry lands the head kick lovely towards the end of
The
the
right
round.
cross or right uppercut at the end of the first breaks his nose as well. He was pretty compromised. He couldn't. By the end of the round, looked over. He looked pretty tired, the opponent, and he looked pretty bashed up. I think his nose had gone.
Yeah, he definitely broke his nose. A low blow there.
Yeah.
But
Perry only
Perry's
kicked.
right.
Perry only kicked him low because he was hoping that he was asked to kiss it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Perry's backhand and his head kick definitely starts to show in this round.
Timo's experience showed, like, as soon as he came out, he found that left hand
pressure,
straight away. I was like, that's his experience showing. I'm watching back. I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
wake up now.
I think I was just going to say, he landed some good hard shots on you, but I think the way yours landed when you started landing clean, you could tell there was a difference in the power as well. Well, that's what it looked like to me. Yours just looked a lot more impactful.
a lot crisper with the striking. I felt like he was a bit swingy. I mean, he catches you with a good left hand in the second. He was a little bit tall, weren't you? Squared up a little bit in the
It's
second.
about now Perry starts to find his range. So he's got his lead shoulder on a lot more now.
Yeah, we only tweaked that a few weeks before, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it weren't long before because you was a little bit square. If you'd been square here, you've got it a lot more than you had. So that was good. But you range lead hand, it's just you got to be a little bit careful on that inside though, because it can break your balance if they're going hard on that inside. But yeah, you're starting to find it now. And then even that they're all peppering. Look, it's starting to get a little marked up already. Just
And
a
eventually
few right hands, you do hit hard. You see, that was lovely range management. That in and out that we work every day, touch, step back in, you just did it flawlessly. Do you know what I mean? You let him get on the outside a little bit. It's hard on a good southpaw. It's a small cage,
Keeping his back off the cage, taking the centre back well.
You just let him get on the outside a little bit easy. You just need to drift on the outside a little bit more with that lead foot. But we didn't do much. Specific southpaw work.
The head kick's starting to land now. He lands 2 or 3 good head kicks. Perry does.
That you see on the outside, that was nice. There you go. Starting to get a little bit of confidence now.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, a little bit of little slides, little kangaroo slides, kangaroo hops.
You can feel you're getting your flow now.
Yeah, you found yourself now, and he's getting marked up.
Lovely straight
Look,
right.
in and out again. You hit, he whizzes by you. It's lovely range management. A little bit on the inside with your lead foot. That's all. That's being, again, what I say, devil's advocate, innit? Otherwise, that was a lovely. That
crashed into that.
Yeah, I reckon you could have put it on him there. He didn't like that. I think he might have
Put it
shook
on
him.
him now. He shoots.
Look, hurt. Yeah, this is flawless.
This is where you could get the finish. He panic shoots. Just run out of time here.
You thought about a front table there, didn't you? Yeah, you transitioned, go behind.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah, his nose is gone. It was
This is my happy place.
yeah, behind a man. Yeah.
Could have gone under the armpit with a few of those shots rather than to the side of the head.
Yeah.
Into a leg drag position. Yeah, he just needed a few more seconds. I think you'd have got the stoppage here. You're all over him.
You just did it again. Very, very flawless.
Just doing the fundamentals and the basics right. Yeah.
The range management was lovely. That I didn't realise. I remember watching it. I do, but watching it back there was pretty fucking nice.
I remember when you.
I'm flirting with you. That was pretty flawless. You gave him a 2-piece, 3-piece, and he whizzed by you, and then you hit him again a couple of times. And that was pretty flawless, man.
I remember in the corner for this. I remember this very clear. I remember Jimmy was like very amped up, like he was very impressed with what he'd seen. He was going, "You live at this range, you live at this range." And I remember he kept saying, "You've got to live at this range." And I remember the look on your face. You were zoned in. Anyone would have thought you just double dropped a knee. You know what I mean? Your eyes were wide. You're in the zone. You can see you there. Look, you kept looking from me to Jimmy, and all Jimmy kept saying was, "You live at this range, live at this range." And the lad comes back a little bit this second round. He lands a nice overhand, but again, you keep your composure, and then the finishing sequence is really, really good. It's textbook. Knee to the solar plexus. Downs him, and that's all she wrote, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a small hesitation in our celebration because we wasn't sure for a second where he was at because the referee was between our line of vision, was he?
I was confident it was body, but
I was as well, but we're not sure what happened.
Well, Perry did the Khabib and Islam thing, didn't he? Everyone started celebrating.
Yeah, because we weren't sure. That was a little bit as well why we weren't sure what had gone on, but yeah, you can see the photos and you just watch it back, obviously. That right hand's landing for free. and then we called for that rear knee as well.
Someone who's had his nose broken, been peppered.
Oh yeah, look at that uppercut, that backhand, that head kick. It's lovely, man.
This is where he lands the overhand.
Yeah.
Or
No, I
it's
think
when he's backed up on the cage.
you square up a little bit on the cage, I believe.
I break a little bit lazy.
Square up, do you? Did you square up?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's usually what I get.
Yeah. When you go square, you've been sparring a lot better since we had that conversation.
The head kick's still landing. Just credit to the guy for coming back. He's been pretty fucked up that first round, and he's not quitting, is he? That was
the only round. Just standing your ground a little bit. Yeah,
this is where you
ground.
circle back to the centre. You might catch him soon.
It's that right hand's all day for you. Yeah, look, it's nice, man.
Faints for days, bro. Maybe too many.
Yeah, you see, I thought.
Did you get a little bit of a thing? Yeah, a bit of a gas tank drop. A little bit.
Right before I get hit, I in my head I go, "Oh, I'm getting tired now." And
Yeah.
I go, "Don't."
Yeah.
Get back in it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
It's here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I think it's a little bit. I think it was around there. I think it just. I think
It's a high-paced fight, isn't it? There's not really a moment where one of you isn't.
No, it doesn't take a step. Well, obviously Perry's moving on the outside, but he hasn't took a step back, and Perry's in and out. It's hard to fight on the outside and using on being on your toes. You know what I mean? And a bit of adrenaline dump from that being your first fight and stuff, and being thrown straight into that cold water. Him starting how he did, trying to bum rush you really from the bell, weren't he? He was straight on you.
From what I remember it, I thought it was a little bit closer this round, but Perry still being a better fighter.
Them left hands don't look as big on here.
Yeah.
We seen one hurt you in the corner, a little bit of your eyes, just a tad. Yeah. But you again, like you said,
just acknowledged him.
Yeah, you switch straight back on.
Shout, wrestle. And,
Yeah. You could have wrestled him as well. Yeah. You could have wrestled him. You're strong in the wrestle, and you did.
I think that's something he thought as well. I think he thought, this guy's good on the feet. Maybe if I take him down, I'm gonna have a better time with it.
Yeah, and you reversed him straight away.
Rounded, but you're grappling so good that you still had that in your back pocket.
That's how right hand's even landing now. That. See, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that's
just whizzing by you again and picking him. You've just been caught with a shot. He's just range management. Look, in, slightly out, in and out, keeping good shape. That trade was on. That was
That's
nice.
the shot.
That was the shot. Yeah. Just
then
not being out, so he was in.
The knee comes,
Yeah. How much do we drill that knee?
all the time, then he tries to clinch again. But
Yeah.
Straight to the solar plexus. The first one hurt him though. I didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
That second one.
That failed takedown knee. We go over that all the time.
They pull you,
They pull you up in your knee. It was again another bread and butter drill wins the fight. You know what I mean?
He dropped so fast that
that was a concern.
Either to the head or or low.
But before
You see, there's a picture, isn't there? There's a picture. It's right there. It lands right in the solar plexus.
I didn't realise the one before landed so well.
Yeah.
I didn't. I think that was that was two knees.
I didn't know I threw that until I watched it.
I didn't really know that. To be honest. I've just seen that and watched it back.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't see it.
The break away from the clinch, you saw.
Yeah, the double knee. It was two knees.
And then I threw a few more against him. I think he went into.
That was lovely, man.
Yeah, well done, Perry.
Respect.
Respect, man.
It's very good, man.
You know what's tough as fuck?
Yeah, and obviously went and prepared well. Went and trained at other gyms, and obviously to have Livingston and these guys, and he's come on. Obviously, he's put the work in.
More experience.
He come in ready for you. You know what I mean? And again, that's another sterling performance and a fantastic debut for me.
And the flex again.
Yeah. I mean,
By far best aesthetic of the night.
I mean, I don't know actually. Jake Wills. I'm going aesthetically pleasing. I'm going Jake Wills. Best haircut. You can have best haircut.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, I don't know, Jake again. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We need to debate. But now, man, I think all four performances, they were a credit to themselves, the hard work they put in, and
credit to you guys. Credit to you too.
But it's a team, isn't it? It's all, isn't it? They fight, we fight. Yeah, these fight, we fight. I'm more knackered after cornering when I fight.
Yeah.
I lose my voice within a second.
Yeah, I'm usually.
It drains the shit out of me. You know what I mean? But like invested in you guys.
A lot of the time, the instructions I'm repeating, I'm just shouting what Jimmy's shouting, but Jimmy can no longer shout. And what I was going to say is, we obviously, I appreciate the fact that you appreciate us, but if you don't turn up and come on the mat and listen and be enthusiastic and give us the effort that you do, then we'd just be, you know what I mean, speaking to a brick wall. We may as well be. But you turn up, you put in the effort, you put in the time, and I'm glad to see you get the results like you did.
Absolutely.
Well, that's why it's such a strong relationship, isn't it? Because it takes two to tango. You know,
Yeah,
there's no coach without the student. There's no student without the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was going to ask you, Pez, is how do you, well, not grade your performance, but looking back on it, how do you feel about it? Are you happy with it? Obviously, I know your analytical mind, you're going to say, I need to improve on this, improve on that. But overall, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Moving a bit less. That's what I'm. Yeah, that's exactly.
Slightly. It weren't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Nah, I thought you overmoved a lot more. You didn't. No.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It was better than after the fight. I think maybe it was maybe overmoved a little bit, but maybe slightly. But I thought you'd overmoved a lot more than you did. I thought you'd overmoved a lot more than you did. Maybe a slight overmovement, but watching it back, yeah, maybe not as much. Yeah. So yeah, maybe slightly.
Cool.
It's
And
pretty fucking good, man.
the this open stance, that rear kick is on. Like it's on, and throwing that like every time. Now I have in my head any time I come against southpaw, I'm pretty much gonna live off that rear kick. I think. I think
there's a few more. If we hadn't spoke about his fighting at southpaw, I hadn't watched the kid. I had all faith in your ability. There's a hell of a lot more we could have done specifically for him. Higher lead hand, winning that lead hand a little bit more, back on lead hand, lead foot. But I can't say he did anything wrong in that fight regarding that because we didn't prepare for that. So that yes, you could have won your lead hand, lead foot a lot more. If we knew he was fighting southpaw, we could have gone patterns for days, and that would have been.
I think that's such a difficult thing to do, to fight a southpaw without knowing you're going to fight a southpaw. It's such a different game, and there's so few southpaws out there.
For sure, and I think there's a few very, very fundamental things we could have done to help that if we'd known. But the drills we do a lot of open stuff, and he was doing all the rear hand down the centre, the upcut, the back knee, the head kick, all your basic stuff that we do anyway day to day, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, absolutely hard thing to prepare for. But I feel we've got enough in the tank no matter what. I feel you guys got enough in the tank no matter who you come against, whatever range, whatever stance, whatever their game plan is. You've got enough in the tank now or in the bank to deal with whatever problems get thrown at you. Guy wants to stand, I need to take him down. I can deal with that. Guy wants to take me down, I need to stand, I can deal with that. Back on the cage, defend, I can deal with that. Attacking on the cage, I've got some patterns. On top on the ground, I can keep control and ground and pound. On my back on the ground, I can throw submissions and scramble back to my feet. Sweet. And that's it. Every position. Would you feel like you would not feel out of sorts in any of them positions and them scenarios?
The only time I feel like I've got nothing is when you're on top of me doing what you want. That's the only.
That's because you let me.
That's it. That's the only time. Stop it, Judo. We made it. We made it.
So close. So close. We kind of like just touched on.
Cut the cameras.
We touched on everyone else, like what's next. Obviously, continue to build your amateur record. To hear it from you yourself, if you got a plan in terms of, do you want to fight again? Do you know when you want to fight again? Or
we got Grappling Industries next Saturday. Got ADCC on the 2nd in December, and then inshallah we're gonna fight March.
Busy year next year, and busy year next year MMA wise. It'd be nice for him to get a few MMA fights out alongside. Numerous grappling competitions, and hopefully we're starting to get close to maybe putting on our own show. We're trying to get back to doing them.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, nothing penciling in yet, but
it's definitely something we want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, as a team, and just give you guys a platform to perform, fight regular, and perform locally. That's keep you guys more active and. Make you some money and get that experience you need. And
I think for Perry, like he just said, exactly, I'd say the same thing. couple of fights next year, stay active in between with grappling comps, and who knows, this time next year you might be looking at your purple belt. You know what I mean? You've been en route towards that for a while. Your grappling's consistently getting better, along with your striking and all the other areas of your game. So yeah, grappling comps are a nice thing to do in between fights to stay busy, get used to that competitive edge, those nerves, that adrenaline. So yeah, just keep knuckling down, doing what you're doing. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
And keep on this pathway. I mean, is the goal to fight pro? Is that what you want to do one day?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? There you
Why
go.
not?
So it's not we've had a meaningful conversation about it, but I presume that's in the back burner. So keep stringing these amateur performances and victories together. But again, even not the victories, like I use Jack Henshaw, I'm sure he won't mind because he's only going to be singing his praises. Pretty mixed bag record wise, amateur. But by the time Jack goes pro, not a million miles away, he will be ready. Do you know what I mean? He's lost some of the best amateurs in the country. He's fought. His experience is vast. This amateur career pathway is about just that. So again, like obviously it sucks dick to lose, isn't it? You probably lose just to have your dick sucked, but it's about.
If I have to.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like obviously we always want to win, don't we? But these amateur fights are about the end goal. And if that's your end goal, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, and we'll take the victories and the good nights and the bad nights as a team together. And again, I have no.
It's what you want at the end of the day,
like
Perry, building that experience.
Can't it?
Yeah.
Like, mad athlete, again, one of these guys with crazy work ethic, talented, gifted, genetic freak. Go get what you want.
And even when you're not fighting, a lot of the time you're in the gym, you're helping the other guys, you're jumping in on rounds, whether it's MMA, jiu-jitsu, you love to be involved. Everyone appreciates you in the gym. So yeah, just carry on the same trajectory you're on, mate. That's all I'd say.
Be in a good place.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Even the Monday after that, straight back in the gym, straight back on the S&C. Like even now, you know what I mean. Like in camp isn't the time to get fitter and stronger. It's in between fights where you can do that, and then use the other competitions like grappling or a boxing match or whatever, where the weight cut isn't as demanding and the intensity isn't there. Like a jiu-jitsu comp is not the same as an MMA fight. Like it's not the same, and it's a lot less. I think on mentally,
Yeah.
You're only focusing on one area in a jiu-jitsu match, opposed to 3 or 4 areas, and also it's not a fight, is it? It's a match. Yeah. You're not. Yeah. You
jiu-jitsu get injured and stuff. There's always that slight worry with the jiu-jitsu comps. Obviously, every major injury I've ever had is jiu-jitsu or wrestling.
Yeah.
But actual wear and tear, actual damage.
Yeah, limited.
Unless we're getting heel hooks.
We're not going to have you competing 2 weeks before your fight or a week before your fight, but 4 or 5 weeks out, beginning of a camp, do a jiu-jitsu comp, get your mind in a good place.
Lot less risk in that sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I'm just enjoying not having the pressure of it.
Yeah, enjoy the journey. You're in a great place. You can come to the same place every day, train with coaches.
This is what I always say to all you guys. Obviously, I've only met Jimmy the past 5 or 6 years, but when he was coming up, he'd have to go all around Leicester, Nottingham, Birmingham, travelling to each individual gym, sometimes 2-3 different places in a day, just to get the training he needed to be able to compete at the level he wanted to compete at. You have everything, although we always encourage you to go and try out, like Aaron going over to Nottingham, our affiliate gym. Go and training at Nottingham. You've been trained at Nottingham and at other gyms, Derby. You've come over to Kev's with me. We always encourage guys to go and train elsewhere, but you have everything that you need under one roof with Jimmy at the helm for you to be able to just get your work done. There's no worrying about, have I got fuel in my car to get here, or the added mileage, the added pressure of traveling. You just come to the gym, spend 3 or 4 hours at the gym, and you can get all the work you need to get done in that one place, which is a real big bonus that a lot of people didn't have coming up 10, 15 years ago.
Duffy used to rustle. We had no money. We used to get in my Enrich Fiesta, my 1 litre Fiesta. We'd be up at 6 in the morning, we'd go till 9 at night, and we'd go nuts. Maybe go down to a bit of food, and then Leicester for weights, and then Leicester shoot, and then somewhere else after. We'd try and get like 10, 15 quid in my Enrich Fiesta most days between us, and then go and fight for like 300 quid, and then do the old thing again and have a pot to piss in, just try and live the dream. So. And
I know the commute, there's always some kind of commute, but I didn't do anything like what Jimmy's just spoke about there. But when I was training jiu-jitsu, I to begin with, I was training with Kevin and Eaton for the first maybe year. Then he moved to Birmingham, Warwick, Cov. I've always had to commute. When he was in Birmingham, at some points I was travelling an hour there, an hour back. There'd be times I'd be working in Manchester. My boss would let me come home. I'd drive to Birmingham to train, stay at home that night, go back to Manchester the next day, just because I didn't want to train anywhere. I tried at other places, but it wasn't as good as Kev. So I wanted to keep going back to Kev and getting that training in. And it was home. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed that. And you've got home on your doorstep. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to go on some mad commute to get there. Like Jimmy, even with London, having to go to London, 2 hours there, 3 hours back. That's a day gone. Do you know what I mean?
We are spoiled in the Midlands, so I'll say that. Like when I had to move down south, like the caliber of training in gyms, like like Devon, all happy hippie surfer guys, like the caliber, like we're spoiled. Like here in the Midlands, there's some really good fight pedigrees that come out of this area. And I have a question, like all this traveling and stuff. Like, what was motivating you to do that? What kept you willing to go? I want to get really good at this jiu-jitsu thing. I really want to. Like, what was the motivation?
I was never a fighter or anything like that. Like I've competed in jiu-jitsu a handful of times. I just noticed that it was improving my life for the better when I first got into it. I got inspired by my friend Mark Timms, who got into Thai boxing, and he was like, "You should give this a go." Like, and I started doing jiu-jitsu. What's he going to say? I started doing jiu-jitsu. I was doing it for a couple of years, then started competing a lot more. And yeah, it was just the effect it was having on my life, where I felt like I was doing better in my job, better in my personal life, having everything like a lot more content. I made the effort to train. Train. I was only training really like 3-4 times a week. I wasn't training every day like you guys are, or like Jimmy was. Like 3-4 times a week, juggling between work and other like personal things that you have to do. But it was always worth it. And every time I went, it might have been hard to get there, but I never regretted going. Good or bad session, it might be hard work getting there, but I always say you'll never regret a training session unless you get injured or something. But to go and get the work in and the endorphins flowing, get the work in and the endorphins flowing. And when I was competing as well, like I was competing at one point. I did a couple of years where I tried to compete at least once a month, twice a month. And if I didn't train, then I wouldn't feel I was able to compete. So I made sure that I'd at least get to the gym a minimum amount of times a week. Now let Jimmy say what he's going to say, because I know he's desperate to say something.
I'm not going to say it. I actually thought I best not. And I don't want to talk about your history in it. You know what I mean? It's not fair, because I don't know how you feel about it. But you know, from that gang lifestyle, cruising around in the Passat, and you know, shootouts with all the sides of Hinckley. MC Fathead, Joe was an aspiring rapper. Joe was an aspiring rapper. There was a bit of gang war and stuff like that, turf wars. You know, dropping the mic and shit on each other on YouTube, and jiu-jitsu saved his life and got him out.
It's a very similar scenario with Biggie and Tupac.
I think as Biggie and Tupac, he's paying it down.
As pertinent of a story as that is to being human's ethos, as pertinent as that is, that we'll have to save that for another time, another podcast. And you know what, we will. We'll do that. But before we wrap this up, I said I was going to ask you both. Performance of the night.
Yeah.
Performance of the night. Who got performance of the night?
Got it.
How about guys?
Performance of the night for me. I'm gonna say, obviously I thought Zach's performance was fantastic. He got fight of the night, but performance of the night for me was Jake Wills. Just being as young as he is, everything that he got to show over a 3-round fight. If I had to pick with a gun to my head, I'd say Jake Wills. Like the nerves. I know it was Perry's first fight too, but Perry had done a little bit more with boxing and kickboxing and jiu-jitsu comps. Jake had a couple of jiu-jitsu matches, and he'd done the Four Nations, which is essentially a jiu-jitsu match. He'd never had a full fight before. And it had been a long time coming. There was a lot of pressure on him. People expected a lot, rightfully so, with the work and everything he puts in. And to go out and perform and show as much as he did against an awkward, unorthodox opponent, for me, Jake Wills was performance of the night.
Yeah, I'd second that. Each one, you could give performance of the night. You really could. Obviously, Zach got a fight of the night. I give Jake performance night. Pretty flawless. Took one low kick. Ella, adversity in a bad place, really. Do you know what I mean? Performing that, it was flawless. That was flawless. You know what I mean? Sexy boy over here. I thought it was going on the night. Watching that back, I'm actually even more impressed. Do you know what I mean? That finish there was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Like, every single one of them, in their own right, is performance of the night. And that's not just being corny. Like, I'm mad impressed with all of them. But I'm in total agreement with Joe. If you had to give a prize with a gun to your head, one low kick, eating one low kick, and performing that, very well done to Jake. But Aulia, you know what I mean? Aulia.
Yeah, that's nothing.
You know what I mean? That's not about anything taking any back from me. That's just literally.
I would give performance of the night to, because you asked, because my opinion's valid. Thank you. It's fine. I'll go fuck myself. Would be Jake, mate. Like, he was so nervous, like, the weeks leading up to it and on the night, and then he just went out and. A lot of
pressure.
Yeah, there was pressure on him because he lives it. He trains there every day. It doesn't matter that we don't put pressure on it. He puts pressure on himself to perform, and he rose. He rose to the occasion with flying colours, if that's the expression, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Shit haircut, but the kid can fight.
And on the night he was nervous and he went out and he bossed this, just dominated this guy in the wrestling on the jits who was like 6-7 kilos heavier than him. And
there was a story to every fight. Zach giving away the experience and everything else, turned up, put on a show, fight of the night. Ella compromised with her back, turned up, adjusted, turned more into a grappler and a wrestler, won the fight. Perry got his finish. The credit to the lad, he come back again. Perry giving away experience. Yeah. Watching it back, I felt like Perry maybe come unstuck a little bit in the second round. I thought. Not unstuck, but I thought the lad come back a lot more than he did from watching that there. I think really there was a couple of instances, but Perry still,
couple of punches, a little bit.
It was still all Perry.
Did all you in and out. The only time you got punched, if you watch it back, and watched it then talking away. When you got hit by that left hand, you went in, but you didn't really go out.
Yeah.
You kind of like just what he was doing fantastically for half a second, maybe a little bit of fatigue and adrenaline, just kind of you didn't really do what he was doing fantastically for like half a second, and you got hit.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, man, all my fights I make loads of mistakes. Like, it's very minor what you did wrong. It's like, and obviously that could have been terrible. But it only takes a very small mistake, doesn't it? But man, it's flawless, man. Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah, I'm glad that it was I'm glad that.
Yeah, you don't want to walk out there. Someone fall over.
Yeah,
Like I said at the beginning earlier, every single one of my opponents was. Well, I respect every single one of your opponents. I respect every opponent the guys had. From quality gyms, training correct, and coming in prepared. And at
the end of the day, you want to fight good people, don't you? You want to compete against good people.
That's what it's about. Everyone.
It's difficult, isn't it? Finding someone who's not going to be a walkover, but at the same time, he's going to put at least a test forward for you to overcome. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I think that went well.
Yeah.
Thank
you for having us on.
Thanks for coming,
we did pretty good there.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah. But we'll have you two back on to unpick Joe's gang life.
We'll break down my music career and everything that came before this. But
MC Daddy Tay Tay.
Another day.
And then drive-bys and stuff. He was part of and stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone's going to be YouTubing MC Fathead who's got to the end of this podcast.
I didn't even say that, but now
you did mention it.
I mentioned Fathead, MC Fathead, but did I say YouTubing?
Cut it off, Aaron.
Make sure you do that. Make sure you do YouTube. MC Fathead.
So we'll end on that. We'll end on Joe outed himself.
Origin story.
I said that.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
very much.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you all.
I didn't even say it.
You said it, man.
I didn't even say it.
Well, you said Fathead.
You say YouTube. I want YouTube it.
MC Fathead.